Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar, Developing Your Course in Brightspace for Continuity During Disruption. My name is Pam Phillips and I'm a Senior Instructional Designer at CITL. Facilitating the session with me today is Lisa St. Croix, who will introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Lisa St. Croix, and I'm a Senior Instructional Designer with CITL.
Also, we would like to acknowledge Kathy Wicks, an Assistant Instructional Designer at CITL, who helped prepare this webinar. The webinar session is divided into 4 sections: Considerations and Course Modalities for Fall 2021, Planning Online Asynchronous Learning Materials and Activities, Structuring Materials and Activities in Brightspace, and Contextualizing Asynchronous Components in Brightspace. The webinar learning outcomes are, at the end of the session, you should be able to differentiate between the course modalities for Fall 2021, identify the degree of risk for disruption in teaching and learning continuity in relation to modality and use of Brightspace, plan active learning activities using Laura Lard's 6 learning types, describe the different instructional approaches in Brightspace, structure course content and activities in Brightspace using the Content tool, and contextualize asynchronous components in Brightspace. I will now pass it over to Lisa to discuss considerations and course modalities.
Okay, so normal operations and teaching and learning at Memorial are always at risk for disruption and continuity. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in uncertainty as to what the fall 2021 semester will look like. As of June 2nd, university email communications indicated that academic units are to prepare for in-person instruction with a maximum student enrollment of 100 and a classroom density of up to 100%. Courses with an enrollment greater than 100 be facilitated through fully remote and online delivery modes. The details about course delivery methods be made available to students through the registrar's office and by updating faculty and academic unit websites. These details should have been made available to students as of July 13th at the beginning of registration. Also, Syllabus should include details about course delivery methods and student accommodations related to COVID-19. Instructors are encouraged to use Brightspace and are to be prepared for a rapid transition to online remote learning if given such guidance from public health. As per the memo to academic deans from the Provost's office on June 25th, to help manage the remaining risk of the pandemic, academic units have been requested to develop an instructional preparedness plan for the fall semester should a course be disrupted due to instructor or students being absent. Increased absenteeism is expected across the institution in fall because university community members are being told to remain home if feeling ill. The plan should include a short statement to be shared with students in their course outline or syllabus, informing them of the communications they can expect if a course is disrupted, and an explanation of how methods of evaluation will be modified due to absenteeism or class cancellations. Academic units are asked to submit their final instructional preparedness plan to the Office of the Provost by Monday, August 9th, 2021. Keep in mind, though, that emerging conditions of the pandemic may require further alterations to plans for fall instruction. So before we review the course modalities for the fall, I'd like to quickly review synchronous versus asynchronous participation. So with synchronous participation, it occurs at the same time in real time, where all students enrolled in a course participate either in on-campus face-to-face classes at the same time or remotely at the same time using web conferencing via WebEx or online rooms. It's facilitated by the instructor should be designed for active interaction and is offered in manageable chunks of time, such as via a 1-hour seminar versus a 3-hour lecture. So in opposition, asynchronous participation occurs anywhere, anytime, online in Brightspace. It enables students to be more self-directed, should be designed for active interaction as well, and is offered in manageable chunks of content. The course delivery methods or modalities scheduled by the Registrar's Office for fall include on-campus, remote, online, and fully online. With on-campus delivery, which is to the left of the slide, instruction and learning happens in person, synchronously. All students enrolled in courses attend local classes on campus. All scheduled days and times are listed by the Registrar's Office, and a Brightspace shell is automatically generated for all on-campus course offerings, which may or may not be activated by the instructor. With fully online delivery, to the right of the slide, instruction is primarily delivered asynchronously through Brightspace, anywhere, anytime. There are no scheduled days and times listed by the Registrar's Office. The general assumption is that there are no scheduled or unscheduled class meetings. Here, Brightspace becomes the principal method of student engagement and learning, and the course is fully planned and developed before the semester begins. And finally, remote courses are face-to-face courses that have been adapted to be delivered through Brightspace and the internet in times of disruption when students and instructors cannot meet on campus. We will focus on these next. There are currently 3 remote online delivery options. They include synchronous, asynchronous, and partly synchronous. With synchronous remote delivery, all scheduled days and times are listed by the Registrar's Office. Here, on-campus in-class instruction is replaced with virtual class meetings using WebEx or online rooms. Use of the Brightspace course shell is defined by the instructor. With asynchronous remote delivery, no scheduled days and times are listed by the Registrar's Office. The instructor may choose to meet virtually at unscheduled times. So, in this case, students will need to check their schedule in their courses. Use of the Brightspace course shell is defined by the instructor here as well. And finally, with partly synchronous remote delivery, some scheduled days and times are listed by the Registrar's Office. There's a combination of scheduled and unscheduled virtual meetings, and use of the Brightspace shell is again defined by the instructor. So the amount of asynchronous course materials and activities that are added to the Brightspace course shell by an instructor greatly affects how well a remote offering can support a course for continuity during disruption. And we can talk about disruption in terms of degree of risk. This slide portrays the degree of risk for disrupting teaching and learning continuity in relation to the modality and amount of online asynchronous course materials and activities that have been integrated within a Brightspace shell. So, for on-campus delivery, the risk of disrupting teaching and learning continuity is highest when an on-campus course in Brightspace is not activated and used by the instructor. So should the need for emergency remote instruction arise, you won't be ready, as time will be required to prepare and upload course materials and activities. For remote online delivery, the risk is lowered because you will have already moved your on-campus synchronous class meeting times to the online environment. And the risk decreases as you increasingly add more asynchronous course materials and activities to your Brightspace shell. For fully online delivery, the risk is lowest, as the course is fully developed and ready to be delivered online asynchronously in Brightspace. Therefore, that's why faculty and instructors are encouraged to use and update their course sites in Brightspace. Adding interactive activities to all courses, regardless of delivery mode, encourages effective teaching, maximizes student learning, and prepares you for any disruptions. In the remainder of the webinar, we will focus on the planning of asynchronous materials and activities in Brightspace. And now I'll hand it back over to Pam to continue.
Thanks, Lisa. So planning online asynchronous learning materials starts with writing clear learning outcomes that focus on the learner rather than explaining what the instructor will do. They describe what you want students to do or achieve at the end of a course, activity, or assignment. Clearly written learning outcomes can help you plan assessments that show if a student has achieved these intended outcomes and select learning activities that will help students achieve the learning outcomes and planned assessments. The key is to have the activities and assessments match the learning outcomes, which Biggs refers to as constructive alignment. Constructive alignment has two aspects. The first is constructive, which refers to students constructing meaning or their own learning through relevant learning activities. That is, learning is not something transmitted from the instructor to the learner, but is something learners have to create for themselves through interactions within the learning environment. The alignment aspect refers to what the instructor does, which is to set up a learning environment that supports the learning activities and interactions appropriate to achieving the intended learning outcomes. Let's review an example that demonstrates constructive alignment and then one without constructive alignment. In this example, the learning outcome is to critically evaluate a research area. The learning activity is for students to present examples of potential research questions, and the final assessment is writing a research proposal to address a specific question. All three components support higher order critical thinking. Therefore, constructive alignment is present. In this example, the learning outcome is again to critically evaluate a research area. A course lecture is the learning activity, and a multiple choice final exam is the assessment. In this case, the learning outcome supports higher order critical thinking, but the learning activities and assessment do not support this outcome. This means that the learning activity and the assessment are not aligned with the learning outcomes. The students might be able to learn the content from the lecture, but they are definitely not getting practice in learning how to think critically. So ensuring constructive alignment in your course is crucial for a quality course design. It will help create a meaningful learning experience for students. To make activities more meaningful and relevant to students, Garrison, Anderson, and Archer, in their Community of Inquiry framework, noted 3 interactions within the learning environment that are required to promote active engagement in a course. The first is social presence, so learner-to-learner interaction. Students working together in peers or in groups. Teaching presence, learner-to-instructor interaction. The instructor is interacting with students and providing feedback and encouragement, basically creating a positive learning environment for students. Cognitive presence is learner-to-content interaction, whereby students are interacting with the course content to construct meaning. For example, students relating content to prior knowledge and reflecting on what they have learned. Young and colleague propose we think of the student learning experience in terms of a series of activities. Then use a rapid learning design model centered around these 6 types of learning: acquisition, collaboration, discussion, investigation, practice, and production, to help us identify asynchronous and synchronous activities in an on-campus course that we could move to online and meet course learning outcomes. The 6 learning types are based on a framework by Diana Lorillard in 2012 to help educators become familiar with the learning process. For example, let's look at the acquisition learning type. If we take the example of reading an assigned journal article on reserve at the library, it is an activity that students typically do asynchronously. At one time, on-campus students would have gone to the library and photocopied the article instructors placed on reserve. Now the library course resources e-reserves system, Leganto, is online and can also be accessed from Brightspace as shown in this image. So you can actually organize your weekly readings, and students can access them directly from Brightspace. Therefore, the conventional method in this activity is reading a paper copy of the journal article, and the online activity is reading a PDF version from Brightspace in the library e-reserve system, which also tracks its copyright clearance. With acquisition learning, students are acquiring new concepts, models, and terminology. Acquisition should be reflective as learners align new ideas to their existing knowledge. So in addition to asking students to read a journal article, include an activity whereby students are provided an opportunity to reflect upon and/or apply the knowledge they have gained, which leads us into the other learning types. Here are some examples of the conventional methods and online alternatives presented by the authors for all of the learning types. So if we look at collaboration, collaboration includes elements of discussion, practice, and production, and building on investigations and acquisition. It is about taking part in the process of knowledge building itself. Small group projects, discussing products by others, and building joint products. And students can still do this online using the online discussion forums, wikis, chat rooms, and again also building joint digital multimedia products now. Discussions, again, requires learners to articulate their ideas and questions, and to challenge and respond to the ideas and questions from the instructor and or from their peers. Once again, these can be done using text chat, online groups, or classroom class discussion forums, and webinars using web conferencing tools such as online rooms and WebEx. Students can also learn through investigation, which guides the learner to explore, compare, and critique the texts, documents, and resources that reflect the concepts and ideas being taught. Now we have open source materials, such like open source textbooks, and students can use online surveys, tools, for example. And then in the practice, really learning through practice enables knowledge to be applied in context. Learners can adapt their actions to the task goal and use the feedback to improve their next action. Feedback may come from self-reflection, from peers, from the instructor, or from the activity itself. Basically, then practice can be anything from peer review activities to simulations and to multiple choice questions. Production is the way the instructor motivates the learner to consolidate what they have learned by articulating their current conceptual understanding and how they used it in practice. So production is mostly, but not exclusively, related to assessment. Some online assessments include video and audio recordings, animations, blogs, doing slideshows with audio narration, using e-portfolios, creating infographics, and doing screencast videos, and even producing interactive ebooks. As you can see, asynchronous learning is not new. What has changed is how technology has increased the type and range of activities we can now do online. After you have selected the learning activities, you create a visual timeline or storyboard similar to this grid that shows the different learning types and sequence of activities in your course. This is the most important task, as you can then look at the entire course and see if the structure flows as you intended and whether there is an appropriate balance and variation of learning types and activities. Also, determine if there are any gaps. For example, if you have mostly acquisition learning, then consider providing more opportunity for students to investigate concepts or produce a product to practice more higher level skills, such as critical thinking. In this course, there's a mixture of learning types, and also the activities are ordered in a way that helps to appropriately scaffold student learning. In weeks 1 to 6, the learning content and activities provide the foundational knowledge students need to complete the final assessment, which is to build a digital multimedia product. In the final weeks of this course, students are guided through the building the digital multimedia product. So adopting this rapid activity-based approach to course design using the 6 learning types will help you achieve constructive alignment and create a more learning-centered course. The approach is based on the constructivist and social constructivist theories of learning, whereby students are encouraged to construct their own knowledge and skills through interactions within the learning environment. Selecting the most appropriate technology tool to support each learning activity helps to promote the meaningful integration of technology. This diagram provides a list of the frequently used Brightspace tools and other technologies at Memorial for each learning type. As you can see, Brightspace has a range of tools and features that can be used to help develop a set of online learning activities. For example, under collaboration, you can use discussions, forums, groups, and the video assignment tool for collaboration. Before I turn it over to Lisa to review, just wondering if you have any questions.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking now about structuring materials and activities in Brightspace. So there are varying degrees of instruction approaches that you may employ in Brightspace to support your course, which include enable, enhance and extend, and transform. When faculty and instructors are new to online learning, they generally start with the enable approach. In this situation, the Brightspace shell is used to facilitate the administration of a course, such as to make announcements, monitor student progress, and add and release grades securely. It's also used as a file repository, for example, to upload instructor course notes, PDFs, PowerPoints, and/or video recordings, such as lecture capture or YouTube videos. In this case, there is no context provided with the supplementary information or resources. These are often single isolated files uploaded to Brightspace directly from a computer. And here, technology is considered an add-on and is not integrated into teaching and learning. When faculty and instructors become a little more comfortable with online learning, they start to move towards enhancing and extending their course. They begin to add digital alternatives to promote student interaction and collaboration, such as students participating in online discussions and group collaborations using Brightspace tools and web conferencing. Some context may be provided through text or video recordings, but the context is little. And here technology is used to increase student activity and promote more independent learners. Later, sometimes faculty go on to totally rethink and transform their courses. As we progress to the transform stage, learning design becomes more important. You deliberately rethink and replan your on-campus or remote course to better organize and sequence content within Brightspace, to effectively embed multimedia and integrate online activities to enrich the student learning experience, and promote engagement, and include detailed description and instructions for activities and assignments, thus providing significant context. Here, technology is used in a constructivist way to encourage learner autonomy and knowledge construction, enhance meaningful learning, and promote authentic learning experience, thus supporting student-centered learning. So to begin moving towards enhancing, extending, and transforming your course in Brightspace, we recommend that you use the Content tool. This will allow you to post content in alternate formats, such as video and audio recordings, text and images, to provide opportunities for self-assessment and active learning, to access the course resources from the online eReserves library system, Alleganto, to add release conditions so that content can be made available at desired times. Also, you can monitor class and user progress and also increase student digital literacy skills for your students. Equally important to these is creating a clear, logical, and consistent structure in Brightspace using the Content tool, which Pam will elaborate on next. Over to you, Pam.
Thank you. So clear, logical, consistent structure starts with the course homepage in Brightspace. The complementary Brightspace shell that is automatically generated for all courses contains a standard course homepage as shown here. There is a top navigation bar for students to easily access the learning content, the communication tools most frequently used, and see their grades by clicking Assessment. The announcement tool can be used throughout the semester to send reminders, post course updates, or links to online news events. Also, there's learning resources students can access by campus using the widget to the bottom right. As well, the remote instruction setup kit template that you can upload into your blank Brightspace course shell as a consistent organizational structure to get you started with adding your content and activities using the Content tool. In the Getting Started section, you can introduce students to the course, inform them of your expectations about communications, provide resources to help them be successful, and let them know where to find help. The syllabus is the course plan of your course. As Lisa noted, you are encouraged to update your syllabus for fall 2021 with details about the course delivery, how you have structured the course, and how students can seek accommodations due to illness. You may use the pre-formatted pages provided in the template or upload a PDF version of the syllabus. We can take the list of course topics provided in your syllabus, along with the assignments and due dates, and create a course schedule or timeline similar to this that students can view at a glance. It will help them stay organized and set priorities. Also, create folders, which are called modules or submodules in Brightspace, to organize your course by modules, weeks, units as shown here, lessons, chapters, or whatever organizational structure you prefer. This will allow you to appropriately scaffold learning content. Each module can build on one another in a way that allows students to integrate what they learned in a previous module with new topics information in the upcoming module. This is especially important for students in first-year graduate courses who may require more support. It will help guide their learning as they progress through the course. In this example, the course content is organized into weekly modules as shown in the table of contents. The Week 1 module is populated with topic pages that contain content items directly uploaded from your computer, which include a PowerPoint presentation and PDF document, and also a link to an article on the internet. This works if you are just using Brightspace to upload supplementary resources for students, which is an enabled instructional approach. However, you can start moving towards the enhance, extend approach by providing more guidance on what students are expected to do with the learning content you add to topic pages in Brightspace. Here you can see the Week 1 module has two submodules: class meeting activities and outside of class activities. Each item or topic page added in the outside of class activities includes a brief statement informing students of the task. For example, introduce themselves in the discussion forum, review the PowerPoint slides, pay close attention to part 2 as it will help you complete your assignment later in the module, and before moving on to the next week, complete this short quiz to see if there are key areas that you should review. When transforming your course, a more detailed plan for each weekly module is provided by creating topic pages as shown in this example for Week 1. Under Week 1, there are 3 topic pages: Overview, which typically includes a description of what the module is about and the learning outcomes; Instructor Notes, and links to activities, assignments students are expected to complete for the week. So instead of uploading single isolated files, you're encouraged to embed the items in a topic page within a module or submodule using the HTML editor and include the context and purpose. On any topic page, you can create tables, add images, embed videos, and link to files you have uploaded to the course site or link to resources on the internet. As well, you can link to other components within the course, such as quizzes, discussion forums, and assignments, and even create a video and audio recording. I will now turn it over to Lisa to show some examples.
Okay, so this first example is an image that has been inserted into the context of a Brightspace topic page. So this image shows a condition called xanthoma. It's related to the eyelids. So you can see the context surrounding it explains this condition, why it occurs, what it means, and how to screen for it. The image is clearly titled, and its credit line has been provided for copyright purposes. The hyperlink provided on the slide on the left will take you to CITL's Technology Resources website and provide you with instructions on how to add an image to a Brightspace topic page using the HTML editor. This example is a YouTube video embedded into instructor course notes in a Brightspace shell. The content explains how to write desired learning outcomes, and the YouTube video supports and extends this concept. As an FYI, when a YouTube video is embedded into a Brightspace topic page, it uses an embed code obtained from YouTube. So it's streaming from YouTube's server. So unfortunately, if the YouTube video goes down on their site for any reason, it will go down in your Brightspace page as well. The hyperlink provided on the slide will take you to CITL's Technology Resources site and provide you with instructions on how to embed a video in Brightspace topic page using the Insert Stuff button in the HTML editor. This is an example of a video that was developed in collaboration with CITL and embedded in a Brightspace topic page. All videos shot in the studio by CITL are edited, compressed, and then placed in a container that looks like this, as you see on the screen for viewing. When your video is ready, CITL will provide you with an embed code so that you can embed the video into your topic page in Brightspace using the HTML editor. Videos created in-house stream from CITL servers, So if there's an issue with a video, in this case, it can now be fixed. So if you complete your own video and avail of CITL's video hosting service, the same process applies. We do ask that you please not upload video files directly to your Brightspace shells, as media files are huge. They need to be compressed and streamed prior to using. If not streamed, they will be copied over every time the course runs, which takes up an enormous amount of server space. So once you get your embed code from CITL, embedding a video in a Brightspace topic page is the same process as with a YouTube video. This is an example of an audio clip that was recorded with CITL and embedded in the context of a Brightspace topic page. Again, it's compressed and put in a container that looks like this. So when the audio clip is ready, you will be provided with an embed code from CITL so that you can embed the video into your topic page as you would a video. So here we have an example of an H5p interactive learning object that has been embedded into the context of a Brightspace topic page. For those not familiar, H5p is free and open source technology. Memorial has its own H5p resources environment where Memorial users have been provided with unlimited space in which to create H5p resources for use in courses and websites. There are numerous different kinds of objects that you can make in H5p. The object you see is a matching activity that was designed for students to become familiar with basic computer terminology and to check their prior knowledge before proceeding further in the course. Instructions are provided along with online glossaries and tutorials to help students locate unfamiliar terms. A hyperlink is provided to a discussion forum where students are encouraged to discuss additional related computer terminology. The hyperlink provided on the left of the slide will take you to technology, excuse me, will take you to CITL's Technology Resources website that contains information about H5p and provides further information on how to create and embed your own interactive objects. Here we have another example of an interactive H5p activity. This is a drag and drop activity designed around a visual to help students review the main coronary arteries and identify which ones supply blood to the various areas of the heart. Note again that associated instructions are provided for students. Okay, so this next example is a discussion activity that has been added to a Brightspace topic page. It includes a description of the activity and provides the instructions and resources necessary for students to complete it. Hyperlinks are provided to various documents on the internet for students to explore. There's a note box at the bottom of the page that contains a link to the related discussion forum where students will post their responses. The discussion rubric will help guide students and provide assessment criteria. And again, the hyperlink provided on the left of the slide will take you to the Technology Resources site and will provide you on how to add a hyperlink to a topic page. And finally, this is an example of an assignment that has been added to a Brightspace topic page. The assignment is well described and provides clear guidelines for students. Instructions as to when and where the submission is due are included. Writing clear descriptions and instructions for assignments are important to enable students to see how they relate to and are aligned with course and unit learning outcomes. This example includes a rubric provided in a simple table format. Brightspace does also have its own rubrics tool, which you can use if you prefer. The hyperlinks provided on the left of this slide will take you to CITL's Technology Resources site and provide you with instructions on how to create a table in a topic page in Brightspace using the HTML editor and how to use the rubrics tool in Brightspace. So that's the end of my examples. And now I will turn it back over to Pam to provide a summary for our session.
Thank you, Lisa. In summary, to create a rich learning experience for students and maintain continuity during disruption, it is recommended you deliberately plan your course to include online asynchronous learning. So move from extend to transform, as Lisa discussed earlier. Ensure there is constructive alignment, so matching your learning outcomes and activities to the learning content and planned assessments. To help you do this, plan active learning activities using the 6 learning types. This will remind you that students need opportunities to practice and reflect on the knowledge and skills they are acquiring and make connections to real-life situations. The importance of adding interactive activities to your course cannot be emphasized enough. A planned set of interactive activities encourage deeper learning, which leads to greater retention and learner autonomy. Also, organize and appropriately scaffold learning content in Brightspace using the Content tool. This will provide the guided support some students require. Provide context for items you upload in Brightspace by embedding the item on a topic page within a module or submodule and explaining its purpose. Finally, keep in mind pedagogy always drives the use of technology, and adding online asynchronous components encourage students to become more independent and take responsibility for their own learning. This concludes our webinar. Please feel free to email any questions you may have to us.